I'm a final year student at IIT Ropar, and I've been learning data analytics and data science for the past few years, for the past 2.5 years, and I've done a number of internships in this domain. I think for the past 3 months, I've landed a number of on-campus and on off-campus offers, and I think from my experience, from my expertise, you will be able to benefit. I'm not an industry professional. I'm not someone who has spent 5 or 10 years in the industry, in the data industry. But believe me, you'll definitely learn a lot in this course. So let me just dive right in. Let me start with the course contents. Um, we'll start with a very brief introduction. I'll cover this bit today, and maybe I'll start with some basics of Python today. Let's see how the session flows. Next bit would be the careers. So what are the possible careers in this domain? What are the skills that you need to learn? The hard skills and the soft skills. And then I'll be introducing you. Sorry. Uh, Feel free to interrupt me. No worries at all. Okay. Yeah. So can everyone see the screen, right? The course content screen.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Perfect.
sir.
Perfect. Perfect. I want you people to to be energetic throughout the session. I know it's not the best time to call for energy, but I think you are learning something which can totally change your life, potentially change your life, because we should not be impulsive with our career choices. We must invest a lot of time and energy in learning something that can open a lot of doors for us. And I think that data is one field which can open infinite opportunities. Now, when I talk about infinite opportunities, I'll tell you what I mean by infinite opportunities. I have 2 or 3 slides dedicated for this. But hold on, let me just briefly introduce the course structure. So, I was uh, I was saying that we'll be touching upon the types of interview questions. Now, this would include the technical questions, general questions, as well as brain teasers, guesstimates, and specific data, Excel questions, Python, machine learning, SQL, stats, all of those questions. So this includes a whole universe of interview question types. And then I'll be introducing you to the data science process. How does the journey of data look like before it actually is used for prediction or modeling? So I'll touch upon that. The hard skills I'm going to cover include stats and probability. Of course, this is the maths behind all the other concepts. You must know this very, very, you must know this properly. Then we'll touch upon Excel, and then we'll briefly cover R, Tableau, and Power BI. These are mostly visualization tools. R is used for a lot of other stuff as well, but I'll try not to spend more than one session on all of these three. And then we'll definitely take up Python because this is extremely important. Then we'll touch upon no, we'll not touch upon machine learning. We'll cover machine learning in depth. So I'll try to dedicate at least 2 sessions on ML and AI, and then we'll take up structured query language, and finally, if time permits, we'll also spend about half a session on Google Analytics. I think this makes sense. Slides will definitely be shared. Yes, I will share the sessions. नहीं notes बनाने की जरूरत नहीं है. चल रहा है. I'll share the notes. I'll share the session. This, not the session recording for all of you, but the slides. And data mining, definitely I'll teach. Actuarial sciences, I will not teach, most probably. Actuarials is a more complicated topic. If I touch upon actuarial sciences, then I'll have to walk you through the 15 exams that you need to take up. So I'll not touch upon that. Maybe leave it for a different time. But yeah, feel free to reach out to me, if you want to discuss actuarial sciences. Okay. No, for reference, I'm just looking at the chat for answering some of your questions. We don't have any exam for this course. We'll only have assignments, quizzes, basic stuff. We will not bother you. We'll make sure that this course is not a burden for anyone, because I know that some of you, most of you are studying. Like 99% of you are in college, and there's a possibility that this course, you might not be able to dedicate a lot of time for preparing for an exam for this course, or for a quiz in the course. So I'll not bother you with that, but make sure you are very, very punctual with the session, with attending the session and submitting the assignments. Okay. What are the other skills? Now, you've not heard of these skills because people don't talk about these skills. But when you sit for interviews, you realize that you've lost, you've lost a lot of precious points if you didn't know, if you don't know all of these things. So, product analytics is something that is also helpful for product management. And these days, product analytics is becoming extremely popular, given the fact that there are lots of tools that help you analyze products very efficiently. And you need to understand product metrics. We'll also cover data repositories. What this includes essentially is, data warehouse, data platform, databases in general, all of that. And ETL processes, then we'll touch upon big data. I think this is all this other skills part is for one session, not more than that. And I think one important part that you should not miss is the interview questions part. And this is where you will be preparing for actual interviews. So, data science interviews, analytics, and behavioral and leadership questions. People tend to miss out on this part. They don't prepare for this. But believe me, this is equally important. So, I'll just spend maybe one session or half a session on this also. And I'll also take up case studies. Now, case studies is something which people don't prepare you for, but these are extremely important for at least reaching that interview stage. If you've not even made a very good case study, then you'll not be able to reach the interview stage. So it is important for you to also understand how to make beautiful case studies, how to analyze a case properly. So I'll touch upon that as well. For internships and placement opportunities, I'll definitely share a lot of resources with you. I'll probably share links of some Slack groups or some other groups which you can join for getting some very good opportunities. And of course, I'll tell you how to leverage LinkedIn. We'll touch upon that. And finally, if time permits, we'll also try to touch upon advanced data science, computer vision, machine learning, deep learning, and I'll try to organize a guest session for that. Okay. I think this is clear to everyone. Are there any other questions? I think there are no other questions. Wait a second. Oh, I'm sorry. There are a lot of questions. Let me take these questions in just a bit. I'll just move on to the next slide for now. Okay. Let me dive right into one of the most important questions in data science, which is the difference between data science and analytics. Now, this is not the most important question, but this is the most frequently asked question. So, it is essential for you to understand what is the meaning of both of these things. Now, the difference between both of these is data science focuses on finding correlations. Now, when we talk about large data sets, it is important for us to identify the trends, to identify meaningful correlations. And once we identify those correlations, once we understand what is the question that we need to ask, that is the point where data analytics comes in. The data analytics tries to uncover the specifics of the extracted insights. you extract insights from data science, and data analytics tries to uncover the specifics. Now, what do I mean by this? When we talk about questions, that is where data science comes in. Data science focuses on when we talk about questions, data analytics comes in. And data science is a very broad field, which includes data analytics. So you need to understand that data analytics is that branch of data science that focuses on more specific answers. And data science tells you what are the questions that you need to ask, right? Uh, Now this thing will become clear when I touch upon the differences between uh, the tasks of a business analyst, data analyst, and data scientist. So before this, I'll just tell you some interesting careers in big data. Now, why I'm focusing on big data only is because these days all the companies have a lot of data, and when you have a lot of data, that's the time you need a lot of people specifically dedicated for doing tasks related to big data. So big data is essentially when the company has a lot of data, right? And these days we know for a fact that all companies have enormous amounts of data. So big data engineer is one. Then if we are talking about a more basic level, that's the point where data engineer comes in. Then the data scientist is a more technical career option. This is where you need to understand the maths and the stats behind things. Then is a statistician. This is a mathematician who knows a lot about stats. Then a business analyst is, I think almost every company has a business analyst. This is the person who helps the business grow or improve, right? And this person does so mostly using data. In most of the tasks, the person uses data. And then we are talking about an AI or ML scientist. These people use artificial intelligence or machine learning models to help improve the output or help improve the models, and in turn help the company grow, or in turn try to bring revenue for the company. That's an AI or ML scientist. Then there are very specialized people, analytics solution architects, then BI specialist, data visualization specialist, AI/ML engineer, and then analytics manager, BI engineer, and so on. So all these are not the only career options. There are many other career options as well, and we'll touch upon them in detail. We'll cover them in detail in some time. Before that, let me take these one by one. Let me just take the business analyst and the data engineer and the data scientist job role first, right? So I'll tell you the difference between a business analyst, a data analyst, and a data scientist. And I believe this is also one of the most frequently asked questions if we talk about data roles in general. So what do business analysts do? Business analysts help you in identifying business problems. Now this is a very business oriented role, right? People understand, people try to identify the problems in your business. Now let me take the example of Google. So Google as a company wants to grow, right? And Google as a company wants to enter newer countries as well. At this point of time, I think it's present in almost every country in the world. But at some point of time, it wanted to enter India, it wanted to enter Africa, let's say, right? And that was the time we were talking about business expansion. So Google wanted to expand into a new country. And that's the kind of problem business analysts help with. Now, when you expand into a new country, you need a lot of data to back your insights, to back your decisions, right? It's not a small decision, and you need a very strong reason, or you need a very strong backing to back your decision. So that's where data comes into picture, right? That's the role of a business analyst. Business analyst tries to grow the business or solve business problems using data. What does a data analyst do? Data analyst is very deep into data. He does everything related to data, and that person gathers data from various sources, online, offline. and then cleans the data, then analyzes the data, then visualizes. Uh, and visualization is basically trying to show the data, present the data in a beautiful format, right? Okay. We have data science. The third important business role is the data scientist. This is more towards algorithm development, or if you put it that way, this is more technical, and you require building machine learning models or some kind of models that would predict the future, or that would predict the weather tomorrow, or that would predict the price of a house in your locality 10 years later, right? These kinds of problems. Before I move on to the next difference, uh, let me let me check the uh, chat once. I think there are a lot of questions. I think most of the questions are around logistics. Uh, yes. So ML in just two questions is a very good question. ML cannot be covered in sorry, I mean two sessions. Uh, we need a lot of need a lot more sessions. But essentially, this course is designed to give you the basic insights. After you go through this course, after you attend all the lectures, you'll at least get a kickstart. You get to understand where you need to work, right? You will get to understand what are the fields and what's the basics of each of those fields. So we cannot do a crash course on machine learning in only 1.5 months. So you know it is very much possible that we spend only two sessions on machine learning. We don't have a lot of time, and second thing, we do not want to go very deep into one particular concept, because as I showed you previously, there are a lot of concepts to be covered. We need to cover all these hard skills as well as the other skills and the interview preparation. So there's a lot to be covered, and it is possible that we don't go very deep into machine learning. If you want, maybe I'll definitely point you to very good courses online, which you can take immediately after this session. Uh, all required basics will be covered in the session. Yes, case studies definitely will be covered. Course duration and targeting 1.5 month. I think towards mid March is when we should definitely be able to finish the course. Even earlier than that is possible. So yes, 10 weeks is something 10 weeks I think is more than what I'm planning. So I believe mid March is fine. No, that's just about 7-8 weeks. So that would work. That should work. But yes, we do have our end semester examinations, mid semester exams, and all of that. So we might have to sometimes delay it a bit because of students not being able to attend. BI stands for business intelligence. Um, so recordings we would be sharing with students who maybe are not able to attend for a genuine reason. In general, we will not be sharing the recordings. We'll share the course material, of course, that is there, and of course we'll also share additional material for you to read. Yes, SQL सिखा रहे हैं DBMS के लिए, because data science is incomplete, or data analytics is incomplete without SQL. So we'll spend one session at least on SQL. Very good question from Hitesh. If data science algorithms can make predictions, why do we need data analysts? So just wait for 2 minutes, because I'll be covering the differences between both of these. I think this question will definitely get answered. Okay. I think all the questions are answered now. No, there's no prerequisite for the course. You don't need to study Python beforehand. Just need to know basic maths for this course, nothing else. Okay, let me move forward with the second important difference is the skills required. Now, for the business analyst, you need to have some understanding with research, some understanding of research skills. Because when you talk about, let's say, let's take up the same problem, Google wants to expand in Africa. So if you talk about this business problem, then you need to do primary and secondary research. I'll tell you later what both of these things are, but you need to do a lot of research because a business analyst is solving a business problem, right? And he needs to do a lot of research. So you must have some basic expertise with data research. All of your decisions will be backed by data. Need to plot beautiful pie charts, bar graphs for backing your decisions. So that way you need some expertise with data research. And this is not a prerequisite per se, this is a very basic skill you can learn in any of your clubs or in any of your, I think a lot of third year and fourth year projects also teach you basic data research skills. Second is mathematical mindset, which I'm sure all of you have, and analytic capabilities, which again all of you definitely have. The third thing is the ability to investigate and identify critical data. Again, this is not something which you need to learn per se. It's just the fact that you need to be aware that this is a skill, and you need to act in a manner which brings this skill out, right? And the fourth one is strong Microsoft Excel, Word, and PowerPoint skills. Excel will teach you, Word you know already, or you would know Google Docs or something. And PowerPoint is something that we might teach you in the consulting course in the later half, in the last part of this series of courses. And PowerPoint skills, I think, is are important for because business analysts present to the senior leadership, senior management teams. They do a lot of presentations. That's where PowerPoint skills come handy. SQL proficiency will teach you SQL. Communication skills, no, we will not be able to teach you this. You would know this already. And one thing that I would want to point out is that we can organize mock interviews for some of you students, for the exceptional students or some students who perform really well in all the assignments. So we will definitely organize some mock interviews for students. Um, but this is for a business analyst. And if you notice, this is not technical at all, right? All of these skills are basic skills. All of these skills are, you automatically learn these skills if you're preparing for a data analyst role or for a data scientist role, right? So for data analyst, you need dexterity in SQL and Excel. You need to know these really well because you need to slice and dice data. You need to make pivot tables also. You need to do a lot of analysis through SQL, Excel, Python, all of these tools. And that is what we'll be teaching you in this course. Then you'll be mostly they expect you to have some experience with BI tools, business intelligence tools like Power BI. Power BI we'll touch upon in this course again. We'll cover this in the course. Then knowledge of stats tools like Python or SAS. So basically for statistics, I'll teach you statistics separately. Then we'll also cover Python and some basics of R. So if you see in this course, we'll cover all these skills. For data science also, you need maths, advanced statistics, predictive modeling, ML, and some programming. We'll not teach you programming, but we'll teach all the rest of these things. Then people these days companies do require a proficiency in big data tools like Hadoop and Spark. And this, when I'm talking about this, I mean companies like IBM, um, companies like Cisco, or even in India, if you talk about these skills, you would hear about companies like TCS, Infosys. All these companies hire specifically for big data engineers, big data roles, and they do require some understanding of Hadoop and Spark. Even if you look at companies like Netflix, right? they have a lot of data. They have huge amounts of data, and even Google, of course, Google, Facebook, Microsoft. They have a lot of data, and that's where they require tools that are more that can handle more computationally expensive tasks like SQL, or even they require tools like Hadoop and Spark. These are big data tools. Excel and Python would fail there, right? Python might not fail, but SQL would definitely fail there. So you require tools which are more, which can handle more amounts of data. Then again, expertise in SQL and NoSQL. Data visualization tools. This includes, again, Tableau and Power BI, and programming languages like Python and R. Okay. I've already told you that business analysts are business oriented. The other two are basically data roles. And the data analyst, this data analyst role is mostly along the data analysis lines. And data scientist is around data modeling. You prepare models, and those models can be used for, prediction or classification, mainly prediction and classification. We'll touch upon that later. Okay. The final difference is the tasks and responsibilities. I think you all can understand these very well. A business analyst defines business cases, analyzes business requirements, and validates solutions, makes informed decisions along with stakeholders. Um this is not something very technical. And data analysis, a data analyst basically explores the data, cleans the data, and then discovers new patterns or trends using the tools that I'll be teaching you in this course. And then the person will develop visualizations and KPIs. While a data scientist is again a more technical role, it is a very broad role. A data analyst role comes within a data scientist role. So a data scientist is a superset of a data analyst role. So basically, there are tasks like exploratory data analysis, business insights, taking out business insights using machine learning techniques, and then identifying new trends. So these are the differences. Um, let me move to okay. Let me move to some questions here. Oh, I think coding. Yeah, so you don't need coding for these sessions. I'll teach you Python, basics of Python. So I think that will help you in getting started. You will get to know the libraries of Python. You will get to know a lot about Python. So that will be a good starting point for all of you. Yes, we'll be having 2 sessions per week. Yes, yes. First year students, first through fourth year, all are welcome in the course. Um, no, you don't need to study Python before this course. Okay. Salary range, I have deliberately not covered the salary range for these roles because I don't want you to get motivated by the salary part. I want you to get motivated by the work part. You need to develop a passion for the work that is there, the tasks of a data analyst or the responsibilities of a data analyst. So you should not look at the salary. No doubt the salaries are extremely high in India as well as abroad. In US, I think data science is one of the most highly paid roles. But believe me, there's a lot to learn before you think about the salary aspect. There's a lot of ground to cover. So you should not look at the salary part for now. We can use Octave instead of R. I was at some point of time I was also looking at MATLAB as an option to cover in the course, but I think R is more widely used than Octave and MATLAB. I know Octave and MATLAB both. We can teach that, but I don't think that will be as useful as teaching R. NoSQL and SQL, I'll cover the differences in I think the next session. Don't worry. And yes, again, yes, Octave and even MATLAB is not a very advanced tool. R and Python you are have more applications companies like JP Morgan and huge companies, huge quantitative analysis companies, huge quant companies use R and Python mostly. All right. So you were talking about the roles, right? If we look at the top 10 jobs involving AI skills, it is, of course, the machine learning engineer role. Then we have data scientist, CV engineer, algorithm engineer, then computer scientist, statistician. All of these tasks require some machine learning and AI, which is why we'll be covering that. We'll be dedicating 2 sessions to ML. Um, okay. This is an analysis for India. If you look at the right side of the screen, and you will, I'll share these slides with you. You can take your time. You can take your own sweet time to go through all of this. But this is an insightful chart that tells you a lot of aspects about analytics. So, say for example, analytics jobs by industry, top 10 leading organizations which have the most openings for data roles. Amazon being the first one. Then we have the big four companies, all these consulting firms. Then JP Morgan, as I've already mentioned, uh, is a very famous quant firm. So many of these companies visit your campuses as well, all these IIT campuses, and all of these companies do hire for all these roles: ML engineer, data scientist, data analyst, data engineer, all of these roles. Yes. If you talk about the details of each career path, uh, that's there in this slide. So, data scientist, you'll get the, you'll also get the salary range. I know you've been waiting for this from a long time. So, a data scientist makes about $150,000 per year, and this is, I think, the one of the most high. This is one of the highest paid professions. And then we have advanced data roles these days, like big data engineer, blockchain engineer, and cloud architect. So if you notice, I was talking about infinite opportunities in the very beginning of the session, and those opportunities are increasing day by day because we have a lot of data these days, and we are also talking about advanced technologies like blockchain and cloud, right? Which is why we need people specialized in these fields. These are not fields for an entry level engineer like you and me, but these would be fields which you might want to go into about 2 years down the line, 1 year down the line, 3 years down the line. So these are specialized fields. But all the other fields like data scientist, data analyst, AI engineer, product manager, even a DevOps engineer or a software engineer, software architect, you would go into all of these fields. Companies do visit uh, Ropar, Dhanbad, um, Gandhinagar, Mandi, all of these campuses. I know for a fact that companies visit for data roles. For example, Fractal Analytics is a company that visits for data scientist roles. I know this for a fact because I am myself the head of placements here at IIT Ropar, and I've been in touch with all the other placement cells, all the other heads of placements of all of these second gen IITs. So no, I'll be able to touch upon the placements part also. And I know that these are the companies that do visit our campuses or in future would visit our campuses. Okay. Now I know some people would be interested in some other domains. Like I think I know some people who are interested in digital marketing from our college. Now, if you want to transition, right, if you've spent a lot of time, you've done some internships in one domain, and you want to become a data scientist or a data analyst, you can get into that data role because you can transition from any role into a data analyst role or into a data scientist role. Can transition from any role into these roles because it's just the fact that you need to know some tools. It's just the fact that you need to know the tasks of a data analyst. So there are about 3 or 4 things that you need to know. One is the hard skills, one is the interview preparation part, and one is the roles and responsibilities of a data analyst. So these are some things that you need to know. If you know these things, then you are good to go. You can transition from any role into the other role. All of you are students, so you've not done a job per se in digital marketing or in any other field, but it's just the fact that if you need to bring that interest, if you need to develop that interest, believe me, it can be done from any field. Even if you are targeting software roles, you can prepare side by side for data roles, because that will open a lot of opportunities, a lot of doors for you. So uh, do consider this career option as one of the very bright career options and one of the easy career options. So you might not put in a lot of effort, but you would get, there's a possibility of you getting high rewards. So this is a low effort, high reward kind of a thing. But that low effort is also, you need to understand that what is low effort. At least some threshold you need to cover. So, and that is what we are going to do in this course.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.